Hey everyone, and welcome back to On a Water Break, the podcast where we talk about everything you and your friends are talking about at rehearsal on a water break. On this week's episode, we have a special one for you this week. We are talking to some of our DCI 2025 correspondents, and we'll also have a special guest here as well. And we'll find out what made Chris say.
Marc Sylvester saying, "You're gonna go from the 20 to the 20 in 16 counts, make it happen."
And why Joey said,
I'm not going to say that I'm a music educator. That group's going to get really worse and bad, but at least I'll get to march the Rose Parade.
All this and more on this week's episode of On a Water Break.
8 off the mat and go. Welcome to On a Water Break, the podcast where we talk everything marching arts. Everyone, bring it in. It's time for a water break.
Hi, everyone. It's Nicole. I just want to tell everybody, hey, how are you? Summer's here. In some places it's hot, and in some places it's really not. I have a sweatshirt on for 2 days. Anyway, we have a great drill, design, drum corps episode for you this week. But first, if you have any questions or you want to be part of the podcast, just reach out to us. If you want to, go ahead and subscribe. You can listen on your favorite listening app. You can write us a review. Share this with a friend. If you have a question or a good topic you want to talk about, you can email us at onawaterbreakpodcast@gmail.com, or you can find us on social media. DM us if you want to be on the show. We even have a form you can fill out if you want to be a guest. All right. If you check it out, the link is right in the bio. It just says join us. All right. We're going to find out who is on the sidelines this week, gushing and going and having some water. Chris.
Hello.
What is up, man?
How you guys doing? Good to see you guys again.
I know. We haven't done an episode together. Well, the last episode I saw of you was talking to the Palisades High School.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to save my gush and go till about Palisades until a little bit later. It's epic.
Okay, great. We have a whole segment for it. Also, too, we have Jack. Jack, how are you?
I'm doing so great. Now that summer's out here in Michigan, things are finally warming up. I know, Nicole, you're in Ohio, so, we got to praise all the great weather we can get, especially coming after this winter. So I'm doing great. And also, things are ramping up in the Scottish world for World Championships coming around in August. And we have a lot of fun events leading up to that as well, too. So I'm excited to talk about that today on this episode. So that's what we got going on here. So
Perfect. Joey, you're on your own marching band tour.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I got 9 weeks this year. Super excited. No drum corps, which is, it's okay. I'm actually really enjoying the free time. I'm in the middle of band camp. I'm in the middle of week 2, and it's really fun because first week was husband. This week is wife. We'll find out what next week holds. You know what I mean?
There you go. 9 weeks. That's a long time. But honestly, right.
Well,
I think
what else am I going to do? I just do this.
Absolutely. All right. So, okay, before we do go on to, I just want to talk or shout out some of the amazing episodes that we've got going on and some bonus content that we've got going on as well. Let's see. Earlier this week, I think we had the Live with the Main hosts. That was with Jackie and Steven and I. And then we just had a plethora of people stop by. We've never had that before. So that was very interesting. We had Dylan that talked about the Pride performance, Cynthia, who is now one of the new is on the WGI advisory committee. What's really awesome about that is she's Canadian. So we really do get that international representation. That's really, really good. Also, we had the bonus episode of online equipment scammers that I did with Christine Reams. So that is very informative. Find out how to protect yourself, even if you're trying to save money, because that's really going to help you out later. And we also had episode 25 with Jacob Klein. He is our male twirler from Ohio State, who is now one of our new hosts on the twirling side of On a Water Break. So, if y'all haven't said hello to him, make sure you do it in the chat. But today, we have a very special guest joining us on the sidelines this week. Please welcome Marc Whitlock. Marc and I know each other from the Academy. He's our ensemble specialist. And I wanted to bring Marc on so we could talk a little bit more about marching arts period, but just to get a little bit more insight from him. And I thought that with all of your backgrounds, this would be a great mind meld of sorts. So let's talk. First thing is we have this little, I call it a game. Some people say it's anxiety, it brings anxiety, but it's called your 32 count life story. So what we do is we give you 32 counts on the Met. You tell us your whole life story from birth to today. And, we all have fun with it. So what we'll do is you'll hear the Met, you'll have 8 counts and you're in. Are you good, Mark? All right. 8 counts off the Met and then you're in.
Okay. Started in middle school, high school marching band, started marching drum corps, a freshman in high school with the Golden Knights. Then went on the Star of Indiana, marched at Garfield Cadets. Have taught so many corps since then. I've been blessed by great people bringing me on board. Santa Clara Cavaliers, Academy, Phantom Regiment, Cadets, all that kind of stuff. And now I'm working with Academy and the Cavaliers, and really thrilled to be able to do this after 42 years.
That was pretty good.
I don't know if that was 32 counts. It may have been 34.
Well, that's okay. Actually, I think you got it right at it. So I will say, I knew that you were with us, obviously, with the Academy. And I also knew that you are working with the Cavaliers this summer as well. Is that with their drum, like with the overall, like an ensemble thing, or is that with the drum line?
Actually, more specifically with the brass, helping out an ensemble when I can, of course. I do more of an ensemble role at the Academy, as you were part of that process of us really trying to create a great structure for young minds. And so with the Cavaliers, I'm very honored and I'm very grateful to Matt Stratton and Seth Murphy and the entire team to bring me on board. I've been blessed in my life to teach a lot of wonderful people like Chris and Matt and some other people. And now that I'm, I don't know, in the twilight of my marching arts career, perhaps they're bringing me on board, and I love being able to help out those students who are now taking the reins and moving our activity in a phenomenal direction as high school teachers, as professors in college, and drum corps. And I'm happy to give back to the activity as much as I can. And those people who I love to work with and help out, I was once their teacher and they were once my student. But the point is we all know that's not a one-way street. And when you're a student, you think it is. They teach, I learn. That's my job. And students don't realize how much they teach us. And people like Chris and people like Matt Stratton and Seth Murphy and Matt Harloff and all these wonderful people out there doing incredible things. I've been blessed to learn from them and teach them way back in the day.
So, Mark, you play so many roles in each one of these groups. I'm wondering, so how do you compartmentalize each different role when you go from group to group? Can you talk about that? Because I know that's probably like a crazy juggling act that you have to do.
It kind of is, but it's also what I like about the groups I work with is we all have our main lane, of course, but none of us are defined by our title or role. If I say, hey, I'm here to help out with the brass, and there might be perhaps a design or an ensemble thing that needs a little tweaking, I know I can give my 2 cents to the people in charge of that caption, and they're going to check it out. I like that about our activity. It's compared to the old days when I was in 80s and 90s, it's very much a much more collaborative environment. But it's also, Jackson, to your question, it's like judging. I've been judging a long time, especially high school marching bands on national circuits, WGI, a little bit of DCI. And so you have to compartmentalize. So I'm on music analysis, or I am on general effect music, or you have to make sure that those other criteria don't creep in. So when you go from corps to corps or band to band, as Joey's doing with bands, and all that stuff, you go from band to band, you have a certain role or a certain reason they're bringing you in. And I think the judging has really helped me to be able to understand which hat I'm wearing at what time with what group.
So true. So true.
That's it. I got a question. So you've worked with all these groups. You've had this. We're talking about your tenure within the activity and your footprints that you've left, maybe the impressions that you've left. We've got a lot of young designers that kind of watch our podcast. Do you have any singular advice for somebody that's looking to make a life out of this activity?
Sure. If you're a designer, I know when I was young and I was writing, so I got my start writing and designing actually when I was the assistant band director at Marion Catholic High School back in the 90s up to early 2000s. And Greg Bim, who is a Hall of Famer in so many ways, he was one of those few, along with Ken Schnook, who were writing the music and writing the drill. So when I went in there, I had to learn a lot because after it was like my fourth or fifth year there, one of the percussion people were leaving and they were writing the book and who'd been there a while. And Greg's like, "Hey, you're writing the book." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Oh, great. All right." So, you just dive in. And so what I wanted to do, of course, I'm going to make a name for myself. I'm going to write all the choppiest stuff in the world and this and that. And I remember playing, and they could handle it, but it was just terrible because I threw all the music out the press box and I said, "Guys, you're on a break." So I learned that don't write licks, don't write chops, write music and be part, whether you're brass, woodwinds, percussion, be part of the fabric of the musical landscape. There's times where you're going to be the focus, but the rest of it needs to be supportive and music. Tom Hannum was one of the best at that, without a doubt. I learned from the Jim Casella, people like that.
Thank you. That's dope. Yeah.
All right, Mark, you and I have known each other for a very long time. We had the great opportunity working together at Plymouth Canton back in the day, which was a phenomenal opportunity for me, being so young, coming into the activity. But the one question that I have been wanting to ask you forever. Now, most people may not know this, but if you watch the 1987 Garfield Cadets playing that famous Appalachian Spring, in the closer, when they do the dissolving company front and then it comes back together, there's this lone contra player that is going from the 20-yard line all the way over to the other 20-yard line. And that is, of course, the esteemed Mr. Whitlock. I want to know how that came about. Was that Marc Sylvester saying, "You're going to go from the 20 to the 20 in 16 counts, make it happen"? Sorry, Sully. That's a horrible.
That was great. Are you kidding?
Well,
I want to know how that came about.
That is me. Now, I was a member. That was my age out year. And I wasn't privy to the exact conversations of design, obviously. But I remember we were basically at this school across from Teterboro Airport. And so we were there. And I just remember being, back in those days, drum corps used to have they used to call it like Death Week or something like that, something totally politically incorrect, where basically you took a break of tour and just relearned the show and rewrote drill and rewrote music and all that stuff. I just remember Marc Sylvester, as wonderful as he was, and Zingali, as incredible as he was, they were just trying to do something different, find something creative. And so we just experimented. So I started on the very end on side one and scooted all back. And then I actually ended up on the yard line, like 3 from the end. And they got everybody there like 8 or 10 counts early so people could kind of fill in between that. And it was just a lot of experimentation because that's the way a lot of drill worked back in those days. And try this, do this, try this. And we did it. And finally we settled on something. And it was, I like to believe it was a great work of art and started the whole, incorporating formal choreography and ballet into the drum corps arena, especially to our lead dancer, Wesley, who taught us all how to do that.
Just stunning. Yeah. So for those listening on the podcast, go look up 87 Garfield and just go watch the closer and you'll see that lone tuba player going across the field. That's Mr. Whitlock. And
we call that like 38 years ago, but I call it about 112.
Agreed. I'm same boat.
I've watched that entire show. I'm going to tell you right now, I've watched whatever I can find on YouTube. I'm just always hitting it up. I've seen that multiple times, and now I have to go back and watch it and look for the Marc Whitlock. That's crazy.
This has been great so far. We're not done yet. Also, we'll be back and everyone will actually see the different correspondents that we do have. And then we will be back in just a bit. We're going to go on a commercial break.
Celebrating its 25th anniversary, Guard Closet was founded as a consignment shop in 2000. Since then, it has grown to become your one-stop shop for the marching arts.
Do you need consignment uniforms and flags for your color guard, marching band, or drumline? We have thousands of sets of consignments in stock and ready to ship.
Do you need show design and custom choreography? Our designers have years of experience in the marching arts.
Do you need to sell your items and clear out your storage areas? We take in more than 600 sets of consignments each year and return hundreds of thousands of dollars to our consigners for their sales.
Do you need to have your students order shoes, gloves, and other equipment? We can set up a microsite for easy student ordering of a wide variety of items.
Do you need custom costumes or flags? We can help get you great designs from our team through top vendors like Show Day Designs.
Have you listened to our podcast On a Water Break? Weekly episodes and bonus content keep you entertained and informed with what's going on in the marching arts.
For over 25 years, Guard Closet has been here to help. Check us out at guardcloset.com or follow us on social media.
And we are back. Now, let's see what's happening in the news this week. All right, so we've got a couple of juicy stories here, but we're going to go over to Chris first with his.
Yes. So we all know past couple years that there's been the marching band, the band director parade band. They've done the Rose Parade. They did the Macy's Parade, and they are coming back for 2026 for the Rose Parade out here in SoCal. And super exciting. I know a bunch of colleagues out here, of band directors out here that I judge with that have participated in the band director Rose Parade Band, including the great Josh Boyd out at Orange Vista High School in Moreno Valley. Hey, buddy. And this year they have a new director, the former director of the Ohio State University Marching Band, Mr. John Waters. He will be leading up this group. It'll be 450 people, 450 directors that'll be participating in this group. And, you know, I got to go see them rehearse when they were out here a couple years ago. And the quality of sound from all these directors was pretty fantastic, because we all know that most band directors don't really have a lot of chance to play all the time. Because they're too busy doing all the management and teaching and all the other things that goes along with being the band director. But to see them practice and to see them doing their thing together, as this article says too, take 450 Type A personalities and put them in a band together. Pretty interesting, but they all come together. They all did their job. So really excited to see them march the 7.2 miles of the Rose Parade. Pretty impressive stuff. Can't wait to see them march down Colorado Boulevard on New Year's Day.
Haven't any of you ever seen them? Yeah. Have any of you ever seen the band director's marching band before?
I've seen videos. Yeah, it's really awesome. I mean, Chris is spot on. I mean, their sound is like outstanding. It's really cool.
Is it an audition group?
And their feet are pretty good too. Gotta say.
I don't.
Let's put it this way: at the Rose Parade, you know, you always see the bands coming down Colorado. But more importantly, it's that turn. The turn onto Colorado, that can make or break your entire performance, whether it's good or bad. And they handled the turn quite well. So, yeah, good job, guys.
Joey, would you ask?
I was asking, does anybody know if it's like, is that an audition group? Like, do you have to audition to be part of that? How does that work?
No, you just go to the website, fill an application, and you're in.
There you go.
You have to be a music educator.
I'm a visual educator. I'm sorry. My bad.
I think that's great. If you are a band director out there and you want to march in this marching band, you need to fill out your form.
And remember, at the end of the parade, you get free In-N-Out burgers. Always a plus.
I'm gonna teach a brass block at some point this summer, and that's gonna say that I'm a music educator. The group's gonna get really worse and bad, but at least I'll get to march the Rose Parade.
So I have the next story, and this kind of plays more into like what I like outside of the marching arts, but I like those shows that kind of like make your mind melt a little bit, and then you have to go and like find a video on YouTube to like explain what you just watched. So Severance is that show for me. I don't know if any of you have ever watched it, but if you haven't, Severance is on Apple TV. Please go watch it. But there are a couple of different places within the show where marching band has been strategically placed. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. If you have, you know what I'm talking about. So I just found out some stuff. So one, they had a scene where there was a whole marching band that was shoved into one of the floors of the office building. Turns out, I think that was Jackson State. And just to go a little bit further into that, Mr. Melchick, I think that's how they say that name. He actually used to be in an HBCU style marching band. And I think it was, I can't really find it right now, but he used to be in one. And that makes sense because of the way he stood up and the way he was able to use the mace and everything in front of them. Yeah, Jackson, you understand what I mean? So I was like, you can't just learn that. He doesn't watch a video and just says, okay, I can do, you got to know. And then Helly R., who actually plays one of the other characters in the show, she was a trumpet player in marching band, went on Jimmy Fallon and played the Severance theme show music on her little pocket cornet. So just a couple of things. I like to cross medias anytime that you're on an episode of mine. I like to cross medias as much as I possibly can. Do any of you watch Severance?
Oh, yeah. I watched the whole thing. I absolutely loved it. I think there's a Blue Devil alumni. I think it's Chris Drummer who was playing snare drum in that episode too. I think they strapped a camera to his drum and you got like a close up of him. I think it's Chris Drummer. I could be wrong, but it is a Blue Devil alumni faux show that's in it. And that marching band killed it. It was so good.
Also, just shout out to the HBCU drum majors because every time I see them perform, I mean, it's a freaking workout. It is a freaking workout, and they sell it every time. Jeff's kiss on that, but yeah, no.
Makes my knees hurt, but
it's totally part of the workout. So anyway, it's cool to see that representation too. I mean, I love that they decided to have that be front and center in the show too. So I mean, it's just awesome.
Yeah. Well, who's got our next story?
All right, I do.
Awesome.
So now that summer tattoo season is jumping up here in the Scottish band world, the pipe band world, we're getting some really cool sites popping up for our summer performances. And one in particular that's just a few weeks away is the Royal Nova Scotia Tattoo. That's happening on June 27th through July 1st. And I have the privilege of joining the Force Drum Major Display Team. So it's a flourishing drum major display team that will be going out from the United Kingdom over to Nova Scotia to perform at this event. There's also going to be some really awesome international ensembles coming in to perform for the event as well too, such as the Royal Norwegian Navy Band, the Band of the Royal Netherlands Marines, and then the Drum Corps of Hanover from Germany. So it's going to be really fun, and I'm really excited to represent this site again on the international stage for tattoo season. So it's going to be a fun one.
So you're part of a group that's going to be performing there?
Yeah. So funny enough that we have like 2 or 3 world champions that are going to be in this flourishing display team. So it's going to be really awesome just from an educational standpoint to be able to interact and have face-to-face time with these previous champions. So, it's going to be awesome. And we have actually a really, really fun set lined up for music. I don't want to give too much away, but I'll make sure to share some videos with the on a Water Break podcast. We can get that out there as well too. But I mean, it's just the tattoo experience is just so good because you go in there, no one, and then you walk away with lifelong friends and close to family, really. So it's just going to be an awesome experience. So yeah.
Oh, On a water break and a tattoo. Yes. Yes.
This is it.
Joey, what's up, man?
Mine's from the DCI space. They're coming out with essentially it's like a new motto or a slogan for the organization. So as the countdown to the 2025 Drum Corps International Summer Tour begins, DCI today announced the launch of a new marketing and storytelling initiative, DCI to the Core. More than just a slogan, DCI to the Core will serve as the unifying theme for the 2025 season, highlighting the people and passion that fuel the marching music activity. This campaign will spotlight the performers, designers, educators, tour staff, volunteers, medical teams, food crews, fans, and others who bring drum corps to life each summer. I think this is really neat. It seems like within the activity, there's tons of things that need to be fixed, and we're constantly innovating and constantly evolving. I think this is just a really cool way to start highlighting the work that so many people do to keep this activity alive and flourishing. And I think that's just great to just highlight when people do a great job. And I mean, when you invest in your people invest in you. And I think with everything that's going on, not just in the marching arts but the world, it's great to feel a sense of community right now. So I think this is pretty dope.
I do too. And I wonder how they will get into finding all of those other things, because we all know usually a lot of times it's always a certain names that you would hear over and over and over again. I would love to hear new names and what they do for their respective drum corps, because it takes a village and maybe even a small state to help a drum corps out through the season. So I'd like to know more about those folks and how they get through. And so bring it on. Let's see those people.
DCI to the core, baby.
Right on. All right. So, Jeremy, can we pause for a second? All right. Well, speaking of DCI, what's everybody excited to see? What are you excited to basically experience this summer? I'll start with you, Chris.
Well, I'm super excited, again, being in SoCal, to have the great Boston Crusaders coming out west for the first time. And I'm even more excited that Boston's coming out because I'm going to be announcing my first drum corps show on July 11th at the Walnut Show. So at my good friends over at Riverside City College, I've been working with them for a couple years now, doing some announcing for them. And when it came up that they're like, "Hey, we need an announcer," I'm like, "Yes, please, let's go." So I do my first DCI gig with the great Boston Crusaders being there. So super excited to see that and to hear that and to hear what everyone's doing. I think Boston is on fire this year. Of course, the Blue Coats are going to be amazing as always. Can't wait to see the bright neon look of the Vanguard, whatever that's going to be. That's going to be crazy. We always know the Blue Devils are going to be great. And, I'm also looking forward to seeing this new revamped, re-honed Cavaliers. And I'm hoping that Mr. Whitlock here can talk a little bit about his time with that in a little bit too. But yeah, let's go.
I actually think that Academy is going to be at that show.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'll be at that show.
On a water break.
We're gonna meet up. I'll be on. I think I'm on the field announcing. So come find me.
We'll do a quick "What are we doing?" It's really fun. Awesome. Jack, what are you excited about as far as DCI is concerned?
So I'm a simple man. I'm from Northern California. I'm Blue Devils through and through. So I'm excited to see them come out, bring in as usual. In particular, I'm actually excited about their feeder corps, the BDB. One of my friends, Marvin Reed, he's taken on that corps now, and he's done a lot of great work with them. And, you got to cheer on one of your good friends and one of the drum major deities. He's an amazing field conductor. So I'm excited to see what BDB is going to be bringing out in their feeder programs, because we need to make sure that we cheer on those feeders as well, too. Really important.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Joey, what are you excited about, or what are you excited to see?
I'm not sure. Honestly, I've been pretty inattentive of it right now. I think knowing I'm not doing the summer, I'm kind of just excited to start just taking in media as it comes, and experiencing this activity in a different way. I think this is like going to be a one-time summer thing because I'm kind of pulling my hair out right now, being like, I want to know all the secrets. I want to be around. I want to take pictures with Chris. I'm going to miss a lot of friends this summer. So I think right now I'm excited to be able to just show up to a drum corps show and not have, the 2 weeks before that having listened to the same music over and over again. And my ears will actually get like a fresh, read and actually experience of what, the corps are presenting. And I think that's what I'm excited for. I think there's something that, your eyes kind of glaze over, your ears kind of become in tune with these types of things. And so, doing like high school stuff all summer, I think it's going to be really cool to go from that, great bands, great sounds, all that stuff. I'm not saying but I'm saying that's just another level. And I'm excited to just hear that difference so quickly, where it's usually all right, I'm gone. All right, I'm back. And kind of just hear the groups, throughout the summer go better. I'm excited. I think the first drum corps show I'm going to see is in the middle of July. So at that point, they're going to be slaying, and then I'll be at finals week and get to hear everybody that did something this year. So yeah, I think I'm just excited to get a fresh read on drum corps this summer.
That's always good to come in with a clean palette. You don't have to worry about any of that. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mark, I don't know what you can say, but I'm still going to ask, what are you excited about for this summer?
Hey, so on a personal level, I'm really excited about the growth, development of the Academy and the Cavaliers. So with the Academy, I feel like there's I think we have and Nicole, you'll know this firsthand, I think we have a better understanding and a stronger approach to group rehearsal. How we're gonna maximize get the most out of our time together. And I think that's really exciting, for whether that's ensemble or small groups and things like that. And I'm really excited. Jim Ragsdale is the other ensemble specialist. He's doing a fantastic job of breaking down the score and things of that nature. The whole team, you, Brian, I'm really excited. Josh T., the director, is one of the kindest, nicest, and most dedicated individuals I think I've met in this activity. So getting to know them better, working with them on a personal level, and getting the core, all we can ever ask is that we're better than the year before. That's what we always, I don't care if you're in a middle school band room or a top 12 corps. All you can do is ask to be better than the year before. And that doesn't necessarily mean ranking. That just means quality for me. So I'm excited about that. For the Cavaliers, I'm really excited about those students, those members, because their attitude is just ridiculously positive and awesome. They have brand new staff in so many areas. They have a new marching routine. They have new forms of musical instruction and brass instruction, especially, and then you have consistent things too, where like Tom Unks is the ensemble coordinator, and he is just a guru at all he does. He's in 5 halls of fame. People like him don't grow on trees, So I'm excited to not only work with him, but also learn from him still continuously, and Matt and Seth. So, and I think the show, without going into too much detail, I think the show is really intriguing. I think Rick Subel and Zivento and the entire design team have done an outstanding job. And I'm just looking forward to seeing that develop. I actually have been on a really bad recovery from a leg surgery that's kind of keep me on the sidelines a little bit. But I've been going in a little bit, and I'm going in this week. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, as the fan of drum corps, the same guy who is 13 years old, what am I looking forward to seeing? Can't wait to hear the first big chord from Carolina Crown. I can't wait to hear and see the AV coordination of groups like the Bluecoats and Boston Crusaders. I cannot wait to hear the literature of the Santa Clara Vanguard. That composer list is off the charts. I can't wait to see, like I did 2 years ago, one of the greatest things I've ever seen in drum corps on the field ever. 2 years ago, Jackson, you're going to love this one. I'm at a show in Atlanta and then at finals in Indy, and I'm hanging out with Todd Ryan, who is just the absolute master of visual teaching. And I'm watching the baritones of the Blue Devils jazz running across the field, playing a long tone at piano and not a foot in the sound. I mean, that to me is key more than the more volume on the amps and the speakers and more sounds and more banging and more this and louder. That's not it. That was just masterful. And the Blue Devils are just the most consistent core we've ever had. So I'm really excited to see them. I'm also looking forward to my mother's favorite corps, the Troopers. They've been doing some really unique things, bringing out some bring out new sounds and new palettes and new visual. And that's my mom's favorite. And I know why. And Tim Snyder and his team do a great job there. So the fan in me, nearly 60 years old, is that same kid at 13 who was just about to go to his first winter camp.
That's awesome. I love how you got so excited about it. There was a very earnest side when you were describing all the groups that you were working with. It's just like very matter of fact. But then there was this part of excitement that came out of you. And I completely get that because honestly, I don't really care who it comes from. As long as I get that blow my face off moment, I'm good. Just give it. I just need it one good time. Give me goosebumps all up my forearms and I will happily go eat a hot dog and, be on the road for the rest of the summer. I just want it one time. And everything that you have just said. Cynthia is actually one of our correspondents, is part of the Troopers staff. And this is year 2 for her. So we are hopefully going to be getting some good tea or cereal or soup or whatever from her more on this. So that's great. Oh, well, we're all, everyone goes on tour. Every drum corps is traveling from here to there. We do have some travel tips from Peak Travel. It's time to get some of those tips for this week, brought to you by our sponsor at Peak Travel, helping you navigate your next adventure, whether it's across the country or just to your next competition.
Hi, everyone. It's time for your travel tip of the week with me. I'm Beth with Peak Group Travel. Performance tours are a great way to showcase your ensemble in new cities and for new audiences. But be sure to also include local attractions and sightseeing tours or cruises to give your group a full cultural experience while they're on the road. Don't forget to like and follow Peak Group Travel on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And be sure to email info@peakgrouptravel.com when you're ready to start planning your next performance tour. This is your travel tip of the week with me, Beth, from Peak Group Travel. Ready to elevate your travel game? Welcome to Peak Group Travel, the ultimate adventure creators. Whether you're planning an unforgettable class trip, a once-in-a-lifetime parade experience for your marching band, or a choir tour full of memorable performance venues, Peak Group Travel handles it all, so you can focus on making memories. From breathtaking international destinations to amazing adventures right here at home, Peak Group Travel customizes every journey to your vision. We're not just planners, we're your partners for the trip you want for your students. Our online registration portal makes managing your pre-trip experience smooth and convenient. We even collect your payments if you'd like. Picture it, effortless planning, unmatched experiences, and smiles that last long after the journey ends. That's the Peak Group Travel difference. And if you choose to partner with Peak on your next tour, and you mention that you heard about us on the On a Water Break podcast, you'll earn a $100 trip credit. Discover why groups everywhere trust Peak Group Travel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and be sure to visit peakgrouptravel.com today. You pick the date, and we'll make it great. Hey guys, I am joined here with Clara and Jack, 2 of our DCI correspondents over at Boston Crusaders. Hi guys! Hey! How are you doing? I know it's been crazy, the first couple of weeks of being with the Boston Crusaders.
It's been really good. We've been working so fast and so much because our spring training's so short this year, since we're going to Colorado right when we would be finishing spring training. We're just like cutting it off and going to finish our spring training in Colorado. So it's like been quite a overwhelming process to push the show out as fast as we are. But
every day is a sprint.
Yeah, it's like it's not. I want to say it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, but it's kind of just a really long sprint.
Yes.
That's the perfect analogy for it. How are things going in like your separate sections and like versus ensemble?
Honestly, the front ensemble is never with the guard ever. We've had like a couple ensembles together, but in Pit World, it's so fun. Everyone's so nice, and the music is so fun to play. It's been busy, and there's a lot of like really long pushes. Because the first like week, we were on the other side of campus from where like the rest of the corps was, so we had to push like super far. But I don't know, it's been fun. It's been good.
We don't really get to rehearse together very much, and we don't really get to like talk because we just see each other in passing and like in rehearsal. But guard has been great. We love like our staff so much, and they push us so hard, which is exactly why we're here. But they've been, pushing us as hard as we can go, and it's not necessarily something I've experienced before, the level that they're taking us to. But I'm really, really excited for it because it's working. It's going well, and we're learning really fast and filling in the whole show. And I don't know, everybody's so nice and supportive, and even though it's hot or it's windy, it was very windy yesterday for our community performance. But even when it's hot and windy, we're all pushing each other to do our best. I don't know. I love it.
So you guys have the community performance under your belts, and your first big show is coming up. So what should people look for when they come to see you live? What's like a favorite part of the show, or just something that is going to be like a surprise or a highlight for you?
That's a good question.
Okay, so in front ensemble world, we have a whole lot of different instruments in the pit, and there have kind of been a few spoilers. Colin McNutt posts stuff on his Instagram that he's not really supposed to be posting on his Instagram. So if you want some secrets, you can go look there because they're public.
For shame.
I'm a former pit kid, actually, so the pit writing and the arrangement and the instruments has really made me nerd out while I've been here. Every time I see it and hear it, I'm just like, oh my god. But in guard world, of course, we can't say anything super specific because hasn't really been revealed yet. But we have some, I can't say, but we have some interesting things to look out for. Keep your eyes peeled for some, cool visual effects. I can't say it exactly.
They are so good. They're so talented. Every single time I watch them, I'm just freaking out.
The pit is too.
That's going to be awesome. I cannot wait to see it. It's going to be great. So thank you guys so much for checking in. And I can't wait to get some more of your videos up on Instagram and YouTube and all of our social medias, and just keep the great content coming.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
I'm really glad we got to pop on for a second because it's a busy day, another busy day.
Yep. Enjoy it, though. Enjoy it. Soak up every second, especially for those of us who are done. Hey, Omari. We're checking in with our DCI correspondents today. And Omari, how are things going over at Carolina Crown?
Things are going really, really, really well. We're a lot stronger than last year, which is really, really satisfying. And we've got parts 1 through 4 without the metronome. We got a run of that already on day 18. So it's really, really, the show is really tiring. Lots of moving and playing, as we do.
Are there any secrets you can let us in on?
No, not yet. It'll all come out, but I've tried to think of something, but I feel like one secret will lead to another, and then
that does snowball pretty quickly. So are you guys done with training yet? Are you going on the road yet?
No, we still have another, I think 2 weeks, and then we have our preview show. That's training. And then we go to another place to go and learn like the rest of our show, which is part 5. And then, and then we go on the road after that.
So you still have quite a bit of work ahead of you before you get all the fun stuff.
Yeah, but it's honestly worth it. I've already lost so much weight from it. It's actually kind of funny to see.
Well, you look great. You look like you're enjoying yourself.
Thank you. How are things going on your end?
Good. Good. I'm just excited to be checking in with everybody today because, like, seriously, I get to watch all of your content videos you guys are sending me. And yeah, it's been fun putting everything up. So one question I asked some of the other correspondents that was a good one was that, is there anything, you know, with your first show just a couple of weeks away, is there anything that viewers should be watching out for? Is there anything you could be like, hey, this is like my favorite part. Make sure you hit that. Make sure you check that out in your show.
Is there anything in my show? I mean, I really, really like our ballad.
Okay.
It's a beautiful piece of music. I'm going to move my camera real quick. Yeah,
You're good.
Very beautiful piece of music. I don't know if there's anything public that I can share that they can watch out for, but
more secrets.
I think also, yeah, I think the end of part 3 also is one of my favorite parts of the show, of anything I've actually marched. So the end of part 3 is really good.
Okay, so watch for the ballad and the end of part 3. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what you guys put out there. Y'all have been working so hard. Is there anything that like has happened that just like blew your mind or like, you know, completely different from last year?
Yeah, just how strong we are. It's not like we were weak last year at all, but there's groups like we've been kind of getting a lot, like we've been getting a lot from the staff and like in a good way. But like there was one day we learned 47 pages of drill and like did it in a full run that night. And we're like,
oh my gosh,
this group has some really good grit, you know. But oh my goodness, something unexpected that has nothing to do with like spring training.
Okay,
like, we got leaked like 3 times. Yeah, we got leaked like 3 times. One of them was on purpose. One of them was like, you know, people see the flow marching recordings,
right?
And they're like, yeah, and to just like build some hype about it. And yeah, that was funny because we got the public thought we were actually getting leaked, but our core director said, yeah, go ahead and post those. It's okay. And it's a little bit of our show music. But then there's like, you know, them keyboard warriors that just get a hold of one thing and then spread stuff out. So that happened. And we're quick on it. Those things don't exist anymore.
Dang it.
Yeah. I don't know if you happened to catch a look, but that is something that caught us off guard for a little bit.
I did not, but I'm sure some of our listeners are going to be like, "Ooh, I saw that," and I'm sure this will clear up some of the rumors whether it was a purposeful leak or not, because that's just.
Yeah.
So do you guys have a free day today?
Yeah, actually, I'm delaying my friends for breakfast on purpose, and they actually don't even know what they want to do, but yeah, they woke me up kind of in a rude way by turning on the lights, but we're making it. It's honestly, after doing parts 1 through 4 last night in a full run, I'm just like, yeah, this free day.
Necessary.
We deserve this free day. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, Omari. Good luck with learning the rest of your show. You're going to be awesome. You don't even need the luck. You've got all the training behind you, so
yeah, thank you very much. In with you. Yeah, it's good to check in with you as well, Jackie.
Okay, everyone, we are back, and it's time for the 60-second tech block.
60-second tech block.
60-second tech block!
Every time.
Every time. It gets me.
Never gets old. Never gets old.
Mark Ricardo, who's actually the captain academy. So, okay, so this segment, this is where our host or our guest clinician is put on the spot to deliver a 60-second nonstop tech session, and it's got to be on something that needs some serious attention from the last run that we just did. So our special tech this week has to be prepared with 3 different topics that they think they can talk about for a full 60 seconds straight, no hesitation, no pauses, just pure technical gold. And this week, let's see, I think we'll throw it over to Mark. So Mark said, so listen, y'all, these are the 3 topics that they want to do. So one is how to deal with the drill experiments of Marc Sylvester when you had no idea what to do. Fun. 2, simultaneous responsibilities now and then. Or 3, really coordinating all the music and audio elements. All right. So what topic do we think Mark should do? Let's hear it, guys. Tell me.
As somebody that got to watch Marc Sylvester do some work over at the Colts, what was that, 2015? Number one, I want to know what it's like to have him as an educator when he was younger. I feel like he was the same in 14 as he probably was in the 90s. Am I wrong? He's much sweeter now or something?
Maybe.
Well, you'll have to wait to find out, depending on if that's what the group picks.
Dang it. I
I'm
vote
here
number
for
one.
one. I'm here for one.
One, yeah.
I mean, as someone who lived through the creation of Marc Sylvester, I mean, I want to hear it too. So,
dang it, y'all! I have had the same. Yeah, I want to hear it.
Number 3 is great. I mean, honestly, like number 3 would be great for designers that listen and whatever.
Yeah.
But number 1 just sounds like a lot of fun.
and
All
look,
right, what do we get?
number two is really good too. I'm just saying, like, that's an important topic, but you know.
Yes.
Smart.
I do think that number 2 is important because, like we said earlier, we have a lot of new designers and younger folks that are stepping up into that. And so you got to know your history. And I think it would be good to know the difference between now and then.
You know, I might be able to intersect a little 2 in this topic 1 if maybe a 70-second segment.
He's like, I will give you a twofer.
Right.
60 seconds with a long retard.
There we go. Rich.
That's right.
All right, so what are we thinking? What do we think, guys? Tell me.
Number 1 with a little bit of hint of 2.
All right.
Yeah.
Are we thinking that? Yes. All right.
One, please.
1 and a 2. 1 and a 2. So we're gonna do those.
Okay.
So, all right, Mark, are you ready? Joey, can you pull up 60-second timer on your phone?
But wait 10 seconds to start it.
All right.
All right,
So
we're in.
here, Mark, you are on. Go.
Okay, so a lot of what happened back in the day, Marc Sylvester, for the young people listening, is a very creative, artistic mind. And him and George Zingali did a lot of their visual designs based on brushstroke patterns rather than grid and math and geometry. So that being said, there was a lot of experimentation back in the day of how to make certain things happen. So my time at the Cadets back in the Garfield years, I marched Zingali's drill, but Marc had to make it work. Marc was the genius that really made all that work. And so a lot of times we just had experiment. We'd take a block, just experiment on how to get to certain things. And eventually what you see at the end is really fantastic. But, that's like draft number 48. So it was really, and of course, Marc is a living cartoon character. He is like Yosemite Sam and some modern day cartoon guy, right? He is lively and fantastic and brilliant.
2.
Yeah, and that's it. It was wonderful being under his tutelage. Wow, 60 seconds goes really fast.
It does. I think there's a lot to be said about that whole, like, oh, what you saw was like the 48th rendition, because that's so true. And obviously I didn't spend that much time as what you and Chris probably spent with him, but yes, he did come in and work with my winter guard when I was in world class.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for 3
Brilliant,
years.
lively, and absolutely unpredictable in the best of ways.
Yes. 1998, when he was working with the Cadets, and he wrote the drill for part 3 of the show, which is basically the percussion feature. And on the finals video, it's multicam, and you don't get to see what the horn line is doing, but we are running our patooties off with all these different reshaped drills, reshaped forms. And it literally took up until finals week for us to figure it out, because that was the hardest drill that I've ever performed, just because of the constant change in direction and your checkpoints and all that stuff. And basically, I think Marc sat down with pad and paper back then, and he just drew a squiggle, next page, Another squiggle. All right, figure it out. And it worked. It was great. It was so much fun. Go find the Allentown 1998 video, and you'll get to see that insane drill. And you'll get to see Mark and the rest of the staff losing their collective minds, because that was a really, really good show that night.
Yeah, it was. And I will say, just as a quick capper to this, back in those days, there was a lot of reshapes Chris referenced. And, unless something's changed, there was a time when Pieware couldn't do reshapes because you literally had to take 4 to 5 paths in one move to make it really have the drill come alive. And so, but, I'm really, his influence is more ripples than we can all count. But, I look at people like not just myself or Chris, but I look at John Vanderkoff of the Blue Coats. I look at Leon May at Boston. I look at Jeff Sacktick at Carolina Crown. We all marched under Mark, and they've gone from that style to now being leaders of today's modern style of visual design and staging. So it's really great to see Mark's initial influence still living on through those 3 drill riders and those 3 corps.
Right on. Oh, so good. Woo! All right. So that was a great 60-second tech block. Thank you, Mark. We appreciate it. We will take that to heart and take it to the next run. But someone out there just got the tech advice they just needed. Now it is time for everyone's favorite. What are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
So this is the part of the show which I really love that music. That's my favorite of the whole thing. Part of the where we just let loose a bit. Maybe not a lot. Well, maybe a lot. Maybe. But we just read about something in the marching arts that's, just doesn't make sense. So maybe it's a tradition that needs to go. Maybe it's a habit that performers can't seem to break. And maybe it's just something that makes you think, why are we doing this? Or why haven't we been doing this? So whatever it is, this is the moment to call it out. And so who's got something they want to get off their chest? Chris, I will go with you. You look very pensive.
I got it. What are we doing in this modern age of drum corps and pageantry arts that we are not wearing our traditional corps uniform at retreat? Oh, come on. What? Like, I get it. We're all going to wear our fancy costumes. They all look great. But at retreat, when we all go out there on the field for retreat, can we just put on the traditional uniform so we can see who we look like and what we are? I mean, I think Cadets did it in 23. I think Cavaliers did it recently, last year or the year before. I would love to see the Vanguard come out with the traditional uniform. I would love to see Boston come out in a traditional uniform. I would love to see all the groups in traditional uniform at retreat. Kind of like with Blue Coats drum major wearing their traditional uniform, but themed in the style of last year's program. I thought that was great. It bridges the gap between being progressive and moving forward versus the old school style. But I would love to see the groups wearing the uniform at retreat. Please make that happen, please.
I will have to say I agree with that. I haven't heard anybody bring that up before, but I honestly, back in the day when I was younger and you could see every corps come out, like, honestly, you just look at the uniform and you knew exactly who they were. I don't know, that just made you felt more in touch with the actual marching community because you knew what corps went with what uniform. So, yeah. Jack, what are we doing?
What are we doing to help out with performers going into DCI this summer to cover their expenses? Because that's something that, I've seen all my friends, they're all doing the GoFundMes, and just seeing how much money required to even get on board now is just crazy. So I think all of our listeners should be really focusing in on what they can do to help support their friends and family members as they're going to really do this amazing activity, because it does require that solid financial foundation. So if you know someone who's going into the corpses for this summer, really put that $5 out there, put that $10 out there. It makes a difference in the long run. If 20 people did that, you're changing someone's experience for the summer.
There is, I'm teaching alongside, yes. I'm teaching alongside someone who just staged out maybe in the last 2 years, and they said that they had, actually gotten to use a school's gym, and they put on, like, a clinic, and the proceeds from the clinic went towards their dues.
That's so smart. I love that. I
Yeah.
think the more creative we can be to really take on this issue, I think that the better for them. I think that's an excellent idea. So, if our listeners hear that, go figure out creative ways to fundraise for this because, I mean, again, it's a beast every summer and it just gets worse every summer if I'm being.
Right. So correct. Mark, what are we doing?
So this is for kind of the young designers out there, or even maybe experienced ones. When it shows, what are we doing by throwing every sound possible at you at once? And I'm going back to that coordination of the audio thing. So I have, and Chris knows this already. I have 2 children who are deaf, and so we have. If we go to a theater, we go to a play or a musical, my child knows exactly what to focus on based on the spotlights and the lighting fixtures and things like that, and that design. So the analogous point to the music is that make it obvious what you want us to listen to. It's not always based on staging of the visual, but sometimes we'll be like, okay, here's like this mellophone feature. And then all of a sudden there's this like bass drum going in behind. I'm like, why are we doing that? Like, save that. Or, it's a situation where because we don't have a snare feature with the trumpets in the background playing, or digital effects or so. It's just make sure it's obvious what you want us to listen to and thin everything else out. So just be careful about not throwing too much at us so we can really make sure we can appreciate your production from a musical landscape standpoint.
Wait, Mark, so I have a question. What is your take on sort of like sound bites in shows, like non-performance sound effect? I want to hear your perspective on that real quickly.
So I am a person who loves the past, but I embrace the future. So I'm fine with it. Because to me, it's more of a connection to theater and maybe multimedia productions or TV or whatever you want to call it. So I don't mind it, but it's not the what, it's the where and the when that bothers me sometimes. That's kind of where I'm at with that. Because sometimes people do it just to do it. It doesn't have what's the motivation behind that moment from an audio standpoint? And sometimes it's just that's what they think it should be, but don't realize because they're so married to the product that it takes away from something else that's going on that should be the focus.
So, Mark, what I think I'm gathering from this is that you're saying that drum corps should start to have lighting rigs in their shows, right?
Anything we can do to add more cost to the members. Yeah,
exactly.
Jokingly, I'm actually one of those firm believers. We talked about after COVID, like, let's just stay in our region, like old drum corps in the 70s and 80s, stay in our area until like late July, save money, and then bring it all together and knock it out, competitively. But no, no, we don't need all that. Obviously, we're joking around with that. But I do think it's important that the audience knows exactly what it should be listening to and watching. Granted, if you have multiple stages with multiple focus and that's all coordinated audio visual, that's fine. But sometimes you got this is going on here and something's distracting us over here from an audio standpoint. Whether it's, it could be a horn, it could be a drum, it could be an effect, it could be digital, it could be acoustic. It just sometimes it's just, and so hopefully judges are really good about really pointing that out. So hopefully designers will take that to heart, not from the just, oh, I better do this or so I can rank higher. No, do it because we're trying to bring a work of art to the field.
I so badly just want that to be a soundbite. Find out, like at the beginning of the show, how you find out why so and so said this. I want straight to Mark being like, we want to add cost to the kit. Like I want that to happen so bad.
Hey, what are we doing?
Oh my goodness. So I had the pleasure of working with so many teams this winter and designing for the fall. And so I've had tons of these conversations with all these groups and groups of people. And my gush, or not my gush and go, oh my goodness, all my what are we doing is what are we doing not finding your village. I think I've worked with a couple of staffs and talked with these staffs, and I started to pick out the personalities, and they start talking to this new program coordinator, and they're like, well, so and so does blah 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 blah. Oh, the percussion guy does blah 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 blah, and it's like, okay, well, have we communicate? Like, there seems to be beef, and like, if you don't enjoy it here, like, there's somewhere else to do band. Don't be miserable here. Go find your village or build your village here. Maybe you just aren't creating the right environment for your people to thrive in. So are you really even building something, or are you just sitting in something undeveloped? That's not fun. I want to buy the property. I want to set a foundation. I want to build a beautiful house. That takes a little bit of effort. And I feel like some of the teams, like, I'm loving these last 2 weeks have been so fun. The band staff has been so collaborative, and we've been so hype. And I mean, like, the kids have ended every day with a big woohoo. The staff ends with a go team. And oh my gosh, it's so fun. But when it's like the end of the day and it's like, so how did everybody's block go? And it was like, it was okay. I'll be back tomorrow. It's like,
oh, but where's your why? You know what I mean?
Remember your why. Yeah, like, why are you here right now? Because the kids are going to get this same vibe. So what are we doing is, what are we doing? Not finding our village. If this isn't the place, go find your place. If this is the place, let's create a safe place for more people of your village. And it's fine. No, it doesn't mean that you're a bad educator. It doesn't mean anything other than, like, these just aren't your people, and that's okay. Go find your people and be happy, and let's all be happy, because there's room at the table for everybody. And I think we forget that, like, it's only my table. No, it's our table, and there's room for you everywhere. That's my what are we doing?
Great job, everyone. Set your equipment down. Touch and go.
Okay. So this is the part or the segment that we just let things off our chest, and we just let some good news come out. And it doesn't have to be about marching arts. It can be about anything you want. This is your chance to be extremely braggadocious. So let's see. It could be a performance, school success, big life event, whatever you want. No negativity here, just pure, unfiltered hype. So who's got something to gush and go about? I think I'm going to start with Jack this time.
Okay. So I mentioned the Nova Scotia Tattoo, and I'm just super excited to be able to travel outside of the country again to go on an international performance. I've never been to Canada before, and I know it's like, and now that I'm in Michigan, it's like right there, right? It's only a few hours away, but I couldn't think of a better way to spend my vacation week. So I'm in medical school, for those of you that know, and so we have about a week off every 5 weeks or so. But this week we have 2 weeks off, and magically it just perfectly aligned up with this. So everything kind of built towards that. So I'm really excited to just experience something new, and also meet some amazing spinners from around the Commonwealth. So it'll be really fun. So
that's awesome. And Nova Scotia is beautiful.
I got it. I was looking at their brochure thing, and they have like the botanic garden, and I'm like, I really want to do that on one of the days that I have off. So it's gonna be really cool.
Oh, yay. You have to give us, well, when you come back, we'll do a whole thing. Oh, you should just, you know what I mean? Like, maybe
call
we should
in. Call in.
We'll just be like, yeah, we can do on a water break in Nova Scotia. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Oh, goodness. Let's see. Chris, what are you gushing and going about?
All right. So my gush and go is, y'all, we remember just back in January with the crazy wildfires in LA, and a bunch of schools lost their equipment, including Palisades Charter High School. We were able to help them out, get some equipment out there. They put on a show. They put on a drumline show. Their color guard intermixed with another high school, Santa Monica High School, and they had a really good, everyone had a really good time, and they had some success. My gush and go, though, is that the graduating seniors at Palisades Charter High School got to graduate at the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah.
Right? Absolutely insane. And they had some Hollywood stars that were there, the graduates of Pally that got to go. Jennifer Coolidge was a guest speaker because she went to Pally. It was just awesome. But they got to go graduate at the bowl, and it was such a cool experience. It was all over our local news. It was just really, really neat. So go Pally. Really proud of you guys, and looking forward. Oh, and they're having school in an old mall. while their school's being rebuilt, they're having the classes, when school's in session, at an old mall, to like a Sears and all that. Yeah.
That's interesting. I wonder if they served hot dogs at graduation.
Would be great.
Oh, I want a hot dog.
Oh, bad.
Oh gosh, crack myself up. Joey, what are you gushing and going about?
A couple of things. Life is good. Life is happy. I'm not working all the time. Well, I am working all the time, but it's just a different vibe right now, and I don't know why. Eva Independent, my independent group out of Raleigh, North Carolina, we just announced that we are doing all 3 idioms this winter after taking a season off. We got a guard in the A class. Oh yeah, an A class percussion group, and we're bringing back the open class winds. And so we got some good money. We've had tons of time to plan. Our staff is just incredible. And if you want to be a part of the team, I just say, just send me an email, inbox Eva. And I mean, we'll take all people. I mean, we got people out in the California area that are going to be chiming in. I mean, like, I'm not ready to announce anything yet because I need all their bios and stuff. But oh my God, like, it's from all over the US. And, I'm just excited for the EVA organization. We're also starting a community band, which will be something really neat here in the Johnston County area of North Carolina. That's going to be amazing. And then for myself, big thing for me, for those of you that don't know, I was a competitive hip hop dancer for a huge part of my youth. Did a lot of World of Dance stuff, did a lot of huge intensives with big names and artists that are on the radio. And then I kind of left it because the performance space wasn't for me. Well, at the end of last month, the JabbaWockeeZ dance crew announced that they were doing open auditions in Vegas at the end of the month. And I went and bought a jump rope. I went and set up my dance floor in the garage. And I've been dancing for about 4 hours a day since the beginning of the month for the audition that happens on the 29th in Las Vegas.
Yes, Joey! Oh my goodness! I will tell you right now, and I'm not just saying this because you said it, but I love the JabbaWockeeZ.
OG, like, I was like, you can make a career out of this. Like, they were the ones that motivated me to just go gung-ho about dance, and I haven't regretted it.
Joey, a billion years ago, I was singing with a barbershop chorus called the Westminster Chorus out here in SoCal, and we were on a competition show, America's Got Talent, and that was the same season that JabbaWockeeZ were on there with us, and that was what launched their career. Those guys were some of the nicest human beings on the planet. Damn, they were really, really impressive with their movement skills. So,
oh yeah,
and it's a cool gig.
I'm really excited. It's the first time they've had open auditions. It's always been they've pulled from Kinjas or somebody from within. I'm so excited. And you're right, they're so nice. I've danced with a few of them from the original team, and they're always, oh yeah, your windmill does this. If you think of this trick, it goes fast. And they're so willing to, like, it's not a competition, it's community. And like that's what's really set up how I really believe in this activity is, just continuing to share the wealth, because we don't get to keep it when we're gone. So yeah, I'm super excited to go back and make it all happen. We'll see.
Oh, great. All right, Mark, being our guest tonight, you're the last one to bring us home with this. What are you gushing and going about?
Well, when you get my age, I'm a lot older than you guys, but I get very nostalgic, very, very reflective. And I just want to give a shout out to, I have a lot of joy in my life, especially with the marching arts. And I have to thank the students and the staff of Marian Catholic, Hebron, Plymouth Canton, and good old Discovery Middle School. Those students really are more than they'll ever know. And I'm very close with a lot of them still. And of course, every drum corps member and staff member I've ever been with. I really appreciate all of them so much as I continue to learn, and I still feel as passionate with this activity as I did when I was a kid. And and then I guess the other the braggadocious part you talked about. I would love the opportunity if there's any bands or there any performance coaches or program coordinators or things like that. They can go to my website. I'm happy to help out if I can.
Nice. Perfect.
Hey, it's called Gush and Go, not Gush and Stay. Let's go.
Ugh, anytime that I can sit and talk with people, like talk shop, and everyone can chime a good day. So I do want to thank everyone for a great rehearsal this week. A special thanks to Chris, Jack, Joey. I know I don't get you all on at the same time, and I'm in the color guard realm and you're all in different realms, but like I like to mix my people as much as I possibly can. So thank you so much. Also, thank you so much, Mark. From the time I met you, I was like, you gotta come on. So we can talk. But thank you for spending time with us today. Where can people find you on your socials?
Oh, on the mark.band or Marc Whitlock, Mark with a C, markwhitlock.com. I'm also on Facebook, Marc Whitlock, Instagram, on the Mark Music, TikTok, on the Mark _BOA.WGI.DCA. So those are my social handles.
Great. So if you got a question or a good topic, or you want to talk about anything, email us at onawaterbreakpodcast@gmail.com or find us on social media. You can DM us if you want to be on the show, even have a form you can fill out if you want to be a guest. We love having people on the show. So just check that out. The link is in the bio. And just click on join us. Or you can just send us a tape on your phone. Like if you just take out your phone and send a video, you could find yourself on the podcast soon. One more thing, don't forget we have a YouTube channel. So now you can go and subscribe and you can see us all there and see all of our shenanigans. Also, before you close out of your podcast listening app, go subscribe, write us a review, and then share it with a friend. You can follow us on social media at On a Water Break, and we'll see you at the next rehearsal on a water break.
Go practice. The On a Water Break podcast was produced by Jeremy Williams and Christine Ream. The intro and outro music was produced by Josh Lyda. To learn more, visit lydamusic.com. And until next time, thanks for tuning in.